Hello, hello. I'm Cybercrow. Okay. Halfway through the hello, I was like, do I say my intro? And I like bailed on it partway through. Hello. Hey, Francesco. And thanks for the subscription. Hi. Hello. Thank you. Wow, 6 months. Jesus. Wow. It's hard to believe I've even been streaming for 6 months. That's crazy. Yeah. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Yeah. So I started a bit early. I'm waiting for Unity to actually open because I just updated Unity and opening Handyman with Unicycle in more recent version. So yeah, yeah. While that's, did I close my? Where is it? Over here. Yes. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm like, might as well just start. I can do my introductory spiel that I usually do before I actually start working on things. Yeah, so we're back working on the Handyman with Unicycle, and what are we doing? I want to focus on doing some level winning things. Back in our demo that we had ages ago when this was a school project, we had our little demo level that you just, or a little like tutorial that you just got to the end of that, and then you got spit out into the hub world. And then we had a real test level, whatever, where it was just fix rides until time limit runs out, and then you win the level. That's what we had there. And that, at the time, was what I envisioned all the levels would be. It was like, you're just thrown into a sandbox, and you have to fix things that are breaking. If too many things break, then you lose, and have to start the level over. You last out the timer until the circus closes, and then you win. I'm going to be changing that, as I've discussed. And not just changing it, but more like adding to it. I want to do a lot more with the idea of what I can do with the fixing rides thing. And even how it was in that test level, I think could be executed better. First of all, that clock UI that we have, like, yeah, is interesting to make, but I don't think we're going to be keeping it. Because I plan to change some things anyway, I think that's just going to become just a number accompanied with some other stuff. That's just a more easy to read timer, right? But yeah, also the whole lasting at a timer won't be as big of a focus as it was in that test level. So yeah, anyways, so before I talk about what we're gonna do, I guess I also I usually recap what we did before, although I'm still waiting for Unity to open. So yeah, I did some, actually, in the last stream we did, okay, Unity's deciding its time is now. In our last time working on this, we made a respawn system, which actually turned out really nice. I'm happy with how it's turned out. I did some slight tweaking of the variables or whatever afterwards, but it's basically the same. Yeah, and then also we removed the code with the minimap because we don't have that anymore. Because then we have the replacement for it being this looking around when the camera is paused kind of deal. Oh, you know one thing I forgot to do? A thing I usually do. Hold on one sec. I guess we're just gonna go blah. And 1 second. I was not prepared. Shabam, and yeah. I like to just post in my Discord my objectives for the stream. Just for no reason other than I can. Which started by me typing stuff out in Notepad documents beforehand, but now that I have this, I can just literally just copy and paste, taking a little screenshot. So yeah, I meant to do that before the stream started, but oh well. I just remembered as I was looking at this. Anyways, so yeah, we had this a system where you can pause the game or basically pause the game while the game is sort of paused, have the camera that looks around like this drone that can fly around the level. I'm not sure how much limits I'm going to impose on that for, like, for example, how far away you can get from the player and stuff like that. And I'm unsure, so I'm just going to not worry about it for now, and something I'm going to figure out later, I think. But right now, it's very simple. You can just fly around everywhere. You can fly through walls, which even that I probably, don't want. But it's a good enough for now kind of a thing. Anyways, so what we're going to be doing today is... Oh, sorry, no. I have multiple things that I want to explain. Let me do all my tangents, get all of them out of the way, and then we'll get started properly. The other thing is that I did some minor things between the last stream and this stream. So I just wanted to quickly say that I fixed the speed power-up, where with our old movement system it worked, but when we changed how our character kind of moves, getting a power-up just completely broke that. And it was no coding was involved with fixing it. I just had to, like, tone the numbers down. And find numbers that made us that were proper, right? So that was that. And then also, I found a cool fix for the fire spewers, and let me see if I can show that. our little fire spewers, and presumably any hazard that's basically the same thing, just a different coat of paint. I've made the colliders match a lot more with the actual colliders, right? So let me just let them shoot a bit. So before, just to show what the change was, before when the fire spewer turned on, I just had one long box trigger collider that would just turn on when the fire starts shooting and turn off when the fire stops shooting. But the brief time it takes for the fire to, like, basically this fire to be this far out, you know, touching around here would still hurt you. And then also as soon as the fire stops spewing, there's still fire over here that then wouldn't hurt you. So it was messy, but it was, like, good enough for at the moment. And I didn't really have a good solution at the time. Because I'm ideally looking for things that are decent on performance. If I make it so it's like, every single particle has some collision or whatever on it, like, that's a huge, you know, performance drain. And would also be complicated to set up anyway. Anyways, what I've ended up doing, which has worked quite nicely, if I can just click on this as an example, basically, rather than one massive collider, if I can, sure, basically it's a bunch of little colliders that are basically like invisible projectiles that are being shot by the spawner that just move. I fine-tuned the variables so that it basically perfectly matches how the fire is coming out. Like, there's the one at the end that basically matches the edge of the fire, and it's, like, you know, close enough, right? Yeah, and then even the shape matches roughly the fire shape. And, yeah, this worked quite nicely. And then they all get deleted at the end, so... Yeah, this worked quite nice. The one downside is that, if I change the speed of the fire or whatever, I have to change how the boxes are. I kind of have to, like, custom make it for every, thing that shoots at a different speed. But for now, I think that's fine. I am capable of doing that. If I really wanted to, like, change how these spawn and have the code actually set with the box collider size and speed or whatever, I could do that later on. I think that is something I'd worry more about when I have, like, multiple fire spewers that are shooting at different speeds or whatever. Yeah, want to more so plan for those scenarios when they actually happen. Anyways, so that was just a cool little thing I did. Was that all? Or I see message in chat on the side of my corner of my eye. One sec. Just, yeah, that's everything I did between last stream and this stream. I think some other minor things. I was experimenting with Skybox stuff that didn't go anywhere yet, but I have some things I'm going to do with that later. Anyways, oh, hello, Real Official Birdie. Hello, hi. Remember about chips? Potato. There you go. I don't know. I got potato chips, bingo chips. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where to go with that. My improv skills aren't good enough. Yeah. It's a word with five letters. It starts with a C, ends with an S. There we go. I don't know. My friend was doing randomizations for that. I read that without actually processing what I was reading. My friend was doing randomizations for memory editing. Oh, wait, hold on. Is this... Hold on, one sec. Yeah, okay. I was doing randomizations for memory editing, Super Mario 64, and broke the game so many times. Check DMs. Ooh, sounds fun. Love games breaking by dissecting code. Cool. Oh, I hate that, but I love it, but I hate it. Oh, no. I hope you're fine if I showed the stream these pictures. They're just Mario 64 stuff, right? So, yeah. We got, like, yeah, I see. Ooh. Is that a texture file that's just that, or is that what the actual in-game camera is seeing at that point? Oh, this is Mario 64 DS. Yeah, I have no clue. This is Mario 64 DS, which makes sense as that would that be easier to hack? I don't know. I know that, like, I've done a tiny bit of DS programming for, like, a bonus project of a school thing, and I know that, like, most, if not all, I say most because I could be wrong if there's, like, one that's doesn't follow this. Most DS games are programmed in C or C++, so... with C and C++ being, well, mainly C++ being a more modern programming language, I guess, then, like, if you're trying to modify original Mario 64, you're probably having to modify, like, assembly code or some low-level programming language or whatever, so, or I don't know, I'm not as knowledgeable in that kind of stuff. It's not editing code, it's editing memory. It's just using, Cheat Engine on an emulator. I've never used Cheat Engine, so, like, I've never done any, like, game modding kind of stuff, but that does seem interesting, yeah. And then Yoshi without a head. I recognize that map. I also see that in the distance. This is the penguin slide in Cool Mountain, Mission 4. That's how good my memory is of some things in this game. But yeah, no, that's certainly interesting, quite spooky. Anyways, Yoshi's head is 100 times bigger there. Oh, is that a piece of Yoshi's head? Great, glorious. Editing memory, yeah, directly like registers and all that. That's interesting. Or it registers or stuff in RAM. That's two different things that store memory, I guess. Or memory that's being used kind of like at runtime, usually, sort of thing. Anyways, that's what the green is. Yeah, RAM, yes. Yes, I know some things. I'm not as knowledgeable with hardware side of programming as I'd like to be, but, you know, it's a work in progress, I guess. Anyways, yeah, very cool. You can do almost anything. It's a popular way to make cheats for games. Just, oh yeah, because if you're, yeah, that makes sense. Because a lot of things, if you can just, with making certain cheats, if it's as easy as just changing a number, you know, or disabling a script or whatever, to take that in a Unity sense, if my character not taking damage is as simple as making a Boolean true or false, then yeah, you could basically edit that sort of thing in code, then sure. Or if you know, a game that has a currency of some kind, just changing the integer that is how much of that currency you have. Yeah, certain things like that, I imagine, are on the easier side as far as it goes with, yeah, adding cheats into games. Anyways, but of course the actual game, like, how you go about accessing that data, I imagine can be tricky. And of course, like, you'd have to maybe know the name of what certain things are called, like, in code, whatever. Anyways, alas, so, yeah, hold on, is this, oh, why is this one song playing is louder than what was before it? Anyways, yeah, so very cool, very cool. On to Unicycle stuff. I was showing off, yeah, this is cool, the collision's a lot better, huzzah. Yeah, and then I think I can quickly, if I quickly go and find a speed power-up, which frankly, I'm not sure, like, where I'm going with these power-ups. I kind of, so we made them in the demo because it was just a thing to make that I thought would be neat or whatever. And then I did a lot of planning for going from that, like, school project to where I now envision this game to go. And kind of forgot about the power-ups completely. And then now I'm seeing them again. I'm like, oh, right, I had power-ups. How do I incorporate those into my current plans? And frankly, I don't know yet. Because, for example, this quick repair power-up I don't think will be nearly as important as it kind of once was. I also worry about, like, a speed-up power-up, how much that might break intended things or whatever, but they're going to stick around for now. I still need a way to actually, like, spawn them, where I had two ideas for how I was going to do that. Either they would randomly just pop up around the map, which doing that would be a little bit hard, or there'd be specific, like, stations that would spawn a power-up of this type. If I do continue to have the power-ups, I'm kind of leaning more towards the second type, because I don't necessarily want there be too much randomness given by just what power-ups show up where and when or whatever. I mean, some randomness is good for replayability, but, like, yeah, I might want a case where it's like, here's some hazards, here's an invincibility power-up, have fun with that, and having that be more fixed and more of a intentional game design decision or whatever, putting certain power-ups right before, you know, certain things if I want. Or here's a hard path where if you go out here, you can get some cool power-up and then come back with it. You know, that kind of stuff. It's more intentional game design rather than it just being completely random. And then, you know, on one run of the level, if you just don't get the power-ups that you want versus one run where you do, that's just, yeah, I don't know. It's something I'm thinking about. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, so I'm not going to worry about it for right now. It's something I'll worry about later. Oh, well, make your player invincible. You try to search for your current health, take damage, type that number of text, and eventually dumb it down. That memory address, make that pointer to that address, and boom. Yeah, for sure. Of course, the difference with that is, like, different games and how they handle health, you know, could be a little bit different. But usually, yeah, it's just an int that you could mess with, probably. I mean, there's a difference between, like, take the health, make it 99, 99, whatever, versus stop from taking damage in the first place. I don't know. Whatever, anyways. But yeah, so that stuff is definitely doable if you know what you're looking for and if you know the game you're playing. Anyways, Shazam. All right, so let's get to actually making stuff, shall we? Enough introductoriness. Because I was saying stuff about power-ups, but power-ups ain't what we're doing stuff with. Oh, what are you doing? Could you not? Okay. I don't know if it's just me, but the stream is lagging. Oh, no. On my end, it looks fine, supposedly. If we go infinite OBS for a second, this number down here is the number that tells me how good the stream is. As long as it's around 5,000, 6,000, that usually mean things are fine on my end, so maybe try refreshing if you need to. Oh, you're gonna do that again. But what's even... Okay, fine. So... Is that gonna happen every time because I uploaded Unity? So, there's a little quirk that this particular version of Unity that I'm using has that only affects, like, a very specific thing that I'm doing in my Unity game that is a very uncommon thing, and I'm aware of that. But I'm still sticking with this version of Unity for other benefits, I guess. Long story short, not going to get into it. So I'm trying to stick with this version of Unity, but it has a certain problem where sometimes the Steam camera just decides to stop existing. But okay. It's fine. It's deal-withable. And I know that this problem is fixed in Unity 2022.2, but that's still in alpha. And yeah. Yeah, there was 37,000 drop frames I just saw. Oh, fun. Oh, down there. Oh, yeah, maybe it was cutting out for a second. Yeah, you have a bit of latency. When I pointed it out a few moments ago, it may have already been fine. Oh, okay, it dipped for a second there. We're gonna hope that it's fine. I mean, it seems to be fine at the immediate right now, so we're gonna hope that it continues to be that way. Anyways, objectives now. So, actually, first thing I'm going to do real quick is do a little bit of the organization of this little, like, strip of different game mechanics is very arbitrary, but for right now, I guess what I'm doing is off this way is everything we've been building so far. This is kind of where the player spawn is in the canon that goes back to the hub world. Off the left, I want to have win condition objective-y things, just because, I don't know. Because I can. Anyway, so what we are doing, and I have to figure out the order. I don't know what order I want to do things here. So I want to basically make the new version of how we win levels. And my idea for this, I guess I will open up Paint for this real quick, is... Well, I don't know if I really need to draw this, but basically I want at the top... Probably the top left, I don't know. Doesn't matter what corner of the screen it is. Basically having a list of written objectives, you know, that you sort of complete. Or I don't know what they'd actually look like when you complete. It might just be red text that goes blue, or I don't know if they'll actually be a check mark, but kind of thing. But you'll have a list of objectives, and when you beat those objectives, you win the level. The first few levels will have a single objective, and later levels might have more, whatever. And these objectives are basically going to be like what that test tutorial thing was, but tweaked a little bit. Like, in our testing demo thingy, not the tutorial, our actual test level, that one was a repair rides until time runs out. So it'd be like, repair rides for bleh, well then, like, you know, timer that's counting down, right? For 5 minutes, and we have timer counting down. And once you do that, it would get checkmarked off. That, functionally, is basically the same as what we currently had in that test level, just looking visually different. But then, on top of that, you could have multiple things. And then, on different levels, you could have different objectives. Like, the tutorial of our game, just like the tutorial of our real thing, I think will just be a get to the end of the level. Go through a linear thing where it's like, we introduce the game mechanics. Maybe you repair a ride or two for the sake of the tutorial. Maybe for the tutorial, we would, like, add objectives as you go along. Like, you learn how to move, you learn how to do stuff, interact with things, and then you get to a section where it's like, repair these 5 rides, and then that objective would pop up, and you do it, and something like that. I don't know. Just thought of that off the top of my head. But then, basically get to end of level, but I think on a level-by-level basis, we would, like, word it in-game, what it would be, you know, like, get to... trying to even think of, let's say you're in, like, I can't even think of an example, like, you know, get to the red building, I don't know, you know, but not like that, but that kind of thing where it's not just get to the end of the level, but it's like based on what events are actually happening. Get to the bottom of the mountain. That kind of what I mean. Anyways, so you'd have different objectives that are listed in kind of like a to-do list kind of way. Again, though, I don't think levels would have that many objectives, especially to start. Like, the first few levels will probably have one, maybe like two. The point of this is that each level can be slightly different for the win condition of how you beat the level. It's not the exact same every time, which I think could be interesting, because the main idea of repair rides for a timer, we can twist that on its head and have slight modifications to it that I think could be interesting, such as the example I keep using with the submarine, where it's like you're in a submarine and, or let's say for one level, you're in this underwater submarine and it's like breaking and there's a bunch of leaks. So then it's like, fix all the leaks. And then you got like 1 out of 7 or something that would show like how many out of how many you have right there. Yeah, so so that is repairing stuff, but rather than for a time limit, it's repair all the things. Once they're all repaired and they're not breaking again, then you win, that kind of thing. Another modification of the actual repairing the rides thing that I think will be better for slightly better for replayability is that currently it was as soon as time is up, you win immediately. That would mean that with levels with this condition, that is the fixed amount of time of the level. It'd be like Overcooked, where it's like, no matter how good or bad you are at the game, unless you fail and die or whatever, but no matter how good you are at the game, as long as you're good enough, the level would be exactly 5 minutes every time. I would kind of like that if you're better at the game, you can finish it faster to at least a degree. So I think modification to this would be like, once the time limit is up, rides won't start to break. Remember that repairing rides for 5 minutes is, boom, rides breaking over here, rides breaking over here, rides breaking over here. We initiate rides starting to break as the level goes on. I think that is like, once the time limit is up, then new rides won't start to break, but you still gotta fix the ones that were currently broken or that are currently in the middle of breaking. The terminology, this is weird and all over the place. Some things might not be making sense because I'm not using the right words, because it can be different in different contexts. There are some things, depending on how this is, some things that are, I'm going to say, kind of broken that you have to repair, like the leaks or whatever. There's things that will be fine. They'll start to break, and that's like a health bar going down, and you have to fix it before the health bar empties. And when the health bar empties, then it's like completely broken. You can't fix it. Smoke coming out of it. And you get a strike, that kind of thing. But there'll be some things like these submarine leaks or whatever that'll be just like, they're in this state of being broken, you go up to them and repair them and now they're fixed. The terminology is, I need a better way to describe it, but I don't know if maybe that makes sense. Different types of things will break differently. Some will just be in this broken state and you fix them and then they're fixed and that's all, like submarine leaks. The breaking rides for a timer is new things start to break, new things start to have a health bar that's going down, and you don't want the health bar to empty. But new things will keep popping up and doing that. Yeah. But anyway, so once this timer is up, new things won't start to break, but you gotta fix what's there. So then the faster you do that, that's slightly faster of you beating levels. Anyways, Francesco, you said a thing. A lot of my registry files are corrupt, so I can't build my Unity game with IL2CPP. That's mainly because my SDK for Visual Studio is completely messed over, so I have to factory set. Oh no, that does not sound good. How did that happen? From you messing with the register file stuff directly? Or something like that? I have never built the IL2CPP. That's a thing. I recognize that being a thing. Somewhere. One sec. The, like different types of, if I just go like this and like add modules. That's one of these. Yeah, that's Linux stuff. I don't think I've ever done that. I've never done any Linux building. I'm aware that it's possible. Oh, and Windows build support. That's, yeah. And I'm only just cluing in now that the CPP part is C++. No idea what the IL is for. Something Linux? Something information? I don't know. Yeah. The 2 is probably like this to that, where that is C++. But yeah, I've never really done stuff with that before. Usually my Unity experience has been, in terms of building things, have been Windows, Macs, like the default thing, little bit of messing with mobile, and a little bit of messing with WebGL, pretty much. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Okay, so, while I'm getting us all on the same page with what I envision for my objective system. So some different objectives that I've come up with for now will be the main one that I think will be the most common one is the repair rides for X amount of time. I think what would also be cool is having compound objectives. I think that can make certain levels interesting, where it's like fix rides for 5 minutes, but also get these collectibles or something. I thought that could be interesting. So it's like, yeah, you basically having to multitask. I think could be interesting. We'll mess around with it, and get collectibles can be different in different levels. Where it could just be like get these stationary things, get these things that are moving around. You know, with creativity, it can mean a lot of things. But it's still, a lot of this is just ride to this area, ride to that area, you know, whatever, dodge these hazards, that kind of thing. I don't know what degree, like, some objectives, like this one, are failable, where you are capable of failing the objective to the point where you have to restart the level or go back to a checkpoint or whatever. I don't know to what degree I'd be doing checkpoints with a thing like this, but I don't know. I'll have to see how doable it would be. If levels are super long, then I would want to have checkpoints. You're not having to redo 10 minutes worth of level every time if you fail at the last minute. But if the levels are super short, then checkpoints just might not be that necessary. We'll see. Discord, I will check Discord. You sent things regarding what you're doing. I'm seeing things. Making it as easier to read the code. Hold on. Bleh. Over. Bleh. I see. Yeah. Start game logic. This is how it. Oh, or LIBIL. Like I don't know what the IL part is. I get library, probably library of something to C++. And the L is maybe Linux or something like that. I have no idea. But yeah. Library for IL to CPP. Yeah, I got the library part. I don't know what the IL is, what that part's for. But is this like the process of going from, this to basically making, like, C# into, you convert it into equivalent C++ code or something like that? Mayhaps. Which I imagine is useful for things. Yeah. Would that allow you to put a Unity thing on, like, a Raspberry Pi? Because Raspberry Pis usually you do that stuff in C++. Does that mean you could actually, like, with that intermediate language? Oh, that makes sense. That's actually pretty cool. Does that mean, like, it is... Is it possible to then run Unity programs on a Raspberry Pi? Because, actually, funny thing, I got one of those recently. Bam! Raspberry Pi on the inside. So rattling out of hold on, drop. Where did that you go? Micro SD card with it, but got some of the fancy stuff on the inside. Well, actually, a lot of it's, covered because it has a cool case. Yeah, that's actually really cool. If that could get me out of having to code in C++ ever again, that would be fantastic. No, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, very cool. That might actually be something I experiment with at a future point in time, because I wanted to experiment with more, physical hardware stuff, as I kind of mentioned. A Raspberry Pi would be a way to do that, just to mess around. I have some ideas of stuff I could try to make, but you want to make a dedicated server for you. If you want to make a dedicated server, you make a Linux build. You can try and run games. I don't know how well it can perform. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. It's stuff to mess around with. I mean, for something like that, I don't know. If for certain low-level things, it might be better to just code something directly in C++ rather than trying to do a Unity to C++ thing just to print hello world. I don't know. I mean, I'm just very familiar with Unity, so getting to do more Unity for stuff like that would be... It's interesting to me because of my over-reliance on C#. Mainly, the main thing isn't just Unity. The main thing would be using C# instead of C++ interests me. It just, as far as the actual coding goes. As someone who doesn't like pointers very much. But, yeah. Anyways. But I understand that they're useful and whatever. But regardless, let's get to actually making stuff, shall we? So, have I covered everything I wanted to cover in... I've been rambling for half an hour. All right, sure. Yeah. And I'm sure we'll come up with like more objectives as we go along. I don't know to what degree if I want to have like optional objectives or whatever. I was considering like if because in the original plans for this, you could beat a level and then you could kind of perfect a level. Where when we had the strikes, you could beat a level, not let any rides break, or not let enough rides break that you get so many strikes that you fail. But then you could also like beat the level without getting any strikes, and you kind of perfect the level, and that could unlock things or whatever. And that was the plan. I don't know if I want to lock myself into that necessarily, because for a level that's like just get to the end of the level, that's it. To perfect that, the only way I can think of doing that would be like a time limit, or if I had optional objectives where it's like to beat the level, just get to the end. But if you get these collectibles and get to the end of the level, then you kind of perfect the level. That could add some replayability, actually, to have some bonus objectives. I think that's a lot to plan around. But what would happen if I had, like... let's just say as a thought experiment. Let's say I had 2 types of collectibles. Let's call it... I have balloons for the power-ups, just forget that. Let's say we have blue balloons, we have green balloons. I guess. If it's like we have mandatory objective is get all the blue balloon collectibles for some reason. If we had bonus objective that was get all the green balloons, so you could perfect the level by getting both. The idea was as soon as you're done the last objective, the level is beaten. You don't touch an end goal thing unless the level is that. Like, that's an objective. It's when you beat the last objective, then snap fingers, you're done. Whatever victory screen comes up. So once you've done the last mandatory objective, the level should be won, but if there's optional objectives, that would mean you'd have to do all the optional objectives before you do the mandatory objectives. So in that case, you would have to not collect the last whatever color I said. I think I said whatever I said. The mandatory objective or mandatory. If I said blue balloons are mandatory and green balloons are these optional collectibles for a level, you'd have to not get the last blue balloon until you've gotten all the green balloons, done the optional objective, and then get the last blue balloon, and maybe that's fine. I don't know if that'd be weird though to like be like you can't do this until you basically have to like make sure that the optional objectives can be done before you're really able to do mandatory objectives. Some optional objectives could also be interesting where it's like things that are you just have to not do, where it's like beat the level without taking damage or stuff like that, where they get marked as complete basically after you've beaten the level. It's like, yep, you did it without taking damage. That kind of be interesting. Oh, I'll lurk now, let you do your thing. Yeah, getting there. Just trying to kind of figure out how I want to approach it. Again, so it's more to plan and more to build to try and have optional objectives. But the idea does seem a little bit interesting. It would add more replayability. Now, what reward do you get for this? So I already had already though, every level will have one consistent optional objective, and that is actually I don't even know how much useful like this will be anymore, but I had this golden balloon cart kicking around for a while where, so the levels have these power-ups. If you get this thing to this thing, then now all the balloon power-ups last twice as long for the rest of the level, and it's just like a collectible thing of itself. The idea was that doing all of this would unlock hard modes for the levels. That is something I still want to try and do, is have a hard mode for every level. And a hard mode that's like, not just the same, but more hazards. Ideally, I've done good if the hard mode of a level feels different enough from the normal version. I think the main way of doing that would be not just more hazards, but like swap some hazards out for other hazards, so you have to think differently about how you approach stuff in the level. Maybe even different objectives or modifications to the objectives. Like ideally, it'd be good if it wasn't just same but more, but it actually like you had to think differently to some degree, right? But because I do want like hard modes of the levels to some fashion. In my original plan that I pitched when I was doing the school project thing of it, whatever, was that so each level was going to have 4 types. There's the normal version of the level, the hard mode that I just described, but then there would be an endless mode. Back when it was like the only objective was last until timer runs out, I was then going to turn that into keep repairing rides for as long as you can go and basically get a high score. It'd be meaningless. I just thought it'd be like, that wouldn't be too hard to implement and would add to more replayability and whatnot. and then I was going to have a endless mode of the hard mode, right? If the hard mode is different enough from the normal version of the level, then they both get endless modes, or something like that. And you would unlock those endless modes by perfecting the normal versions of the levels, right? That was the original idea. However, those worked when the original plan was the only way to beating a level was lasting out a timer while you run around the map doing stuff. If it's different, and there's different objectives, I don't know how well that stuff works. Like, if the objective is just get to the end of the level, how do I make an endless mode out of that? A hard mode of that is just, more hazards, different hazards, whatever. Or do it on a time limit, sure. You can't really make an endless mode of that. Unless endless isn't really endless and it's more of like a free play kind of thing where you can just get dropped in the level environment, no objectives, you can just look around and do stuff, I guess. That could also be an option. I don't know how much I want that or need that anyway, but I don't know, it's just a replayability thing. If you want to just you beat the level, you can just go back into it where there's no having to fight against a time limit or something. I don't know if that's even necessary or worth my time to try and make. So I don't know. So I think for now, that's just stuff I've thought about as regards to how this whole objective thing was going to go. So I think for now I might just not worry about that. I do want normal mode and hard mode are those two things I want. So maybe I might just forget about the endless thing for right now. Maybe think about it later. So how you unlocked the hard mode was going to be by if in a level you've done the optional get the balloon tank to the get the helium tank to the balloon cart thing and repair it and do that whole thing, that would unlock you the hard mode of that level. Sort of. It's more complicated than that, but let's just brief way of it. I don't know how much I'm going to be using power-ups anymore, so I don't even know how useful this is. So maybe I might modify it more to that, like, if I have bonus objectives, if you do the bonus objectives and you beat all of that stuff, then you unlock the hard mode. Would the hard mode have bonus objectives then? I say maybe, but then I'm like, so, like, doing the bonus objectives unlock anything of the hard mode? I would say no. I don't need harder mode. But then it's like, okay, does the hard mode just not have bonus objectives? I don't know. That's also something to reconsider, I guess. I mean, it doesn't need bonus objectives. It just has enough objectives that's just like, do all of these things and then you're good. I don't know. I'm not sure how I want to approach that. So, but see, what I'm doing right now, though, I'm not actually building the thing yet. I'm just trying to make sure that is what I'm wanting to do gonna mess me over later? Am I, does this plan of how I'm gonna do this objectives thing work? Or am I going to make something that I'm going to then undo later? That's what I'm trying to avoid, I guess. Make sure that I have all my bases covered for what I'm doing with this, what my plans are with this, and where I'm taking it. And, if modifying the idea slightly before I go through the effort of making it all would be beneficial. And to that I say, I don't know. So how about for now, I'm just going to... We don't even have this objective system made yet. So I think, I 100%, I do want this objective system the way that I have envisioned with, like, the lines of objectives. I do think I want that. Like, this is the way I want to go about it. So start there. Make the simple objectives. Make the compound objectives. In terms of what the objectives are, these few that I've come up with so far, I don't know what order I'll make them in. They seem good. Good enough for now. I can come up with more variations later on. Plus the compound thing. And maybe I won't worry about the optional objectives just yet. With the exception of the balloon cart thing. Maybe what I could try to find a better way to make this more impactful. I don't know how that'll be. I don't know how that'll happen, but... Because, again, as I said, like, doing this makes the power-ups last twice as long for the rest of the level. But, as I said, I don't know how... Ooh. I was gonna say, I don't know how useful these power-ups really are now, or how much they're gonna be in levels. However, maybe I make more power-ups, more different types of power-ups. Maybe I treat the power-ups differently, where they can be more useful again. And then, yeah, then this becomes more useful. I don't know what that's gonna be yet, but I guess that's something to consider. I guess I don't want to go too overboard with it, I guess, but whatever. All right, let's just start doing stuff, shall we? 40 minutes in. All right, simple objective system. So I guess I'm starting with that. Oh, I'm gonna have to go to... That's a player thing, so I'm gonna have to go back to my player testing scene. I don't think I've saved anything in this. Should be fine. Okay, that's a camera thing. Let me find what I currently have. So, we did, at points in time, have the strikes and have the clock. The lighting's currently a bit broken on it. Don't know exactly why that is. I guess I did some post-processing between now and then and now, but yeah, the other thing is with the strikes. I mean, I might change the UI of it a bit. If I have the mission, the objective of repair rides for 5 minutes, then right beside that, really small, would be your strikes. I think that might be how I want to do it. Because before, at this point in time, the strikes were like a universal important thing. Now they're only important sometimes with the specific thing. And maybe then like different objectives might have their own strike equivalents. Such as, we could have an objective that's like, get 5 of the 10 collectibles, and once you've gotten any of the 5, then you're good. That could be interesting for replayability of like, oh, what's the best 5 to get? Like, how do I best optimize the order that I get them? That could be interesting, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. So, okay, let's just turn those off for now. I won't delete those just yet. Just like the... Yeah, I'll wait on that. Okay. I'm also... So yeah, as I said, the objectives themselves, as far as the player sees, for now we're just going to be text. They might be accompanied with images later. I imagine them being on the left side of the screen. I don't know if I like them... I mean, currently... I have like I have these two corners of the screen having UI in them. These side are empty. I don't know if I want to change that later on. Like move the power-ups to this side so it's like diagonal. Or I don't know if eventually I'll have other things. Like the bottom. Like, if characters talk, I plan for characters to talk, so we'll have subtitles going along the bottom. So I could have the entire bottom be empty and just have like objectives, power-up stuff up here. And then the bottom is empty, maybe. Maybe that'd be a way to go about it. Whatever. Anyways, for now, we're just gonna have the default, like, repair rides for, So, in terms of, like, how this would actually look, like, repair rides for, and then timer that is ticking down, or would I have, like, repair rides for 5 minutes? And then beside that have the actual what the actual timer is for, how much time do you have. I mean, I feel like I want these to be compact, and the compact way would be to just go repair rides for 5 and that's counting down. The actual what this is gonna look like, I don't know why, but I imagine these being green, or maybe like red when you haven't done them, and then red when you haven't done them, green when you succeed them. I was about to say maybe they'd start yellow and they'd be red if you fail them, but if you fail an objective, then the level ends immediately, so that would be a little unnecessary. Unless I had a mission where it was like, do 2 of the 3 objectives, you were allowed to fail one of them, but that's overcomplicating it, I think. I don't want to overcomplicate the objectives thing too much. It's just like, there's your to-do list, do it, you win. It should be as simple as that as far as the player's concerned. And, yeah. And then the actual objectives themselves, like a lot of them would be reoccurring, so the player would get used to what kinds of objectives they're usually going to see. Like a get to this location, repair rides for a time limit, repair a bunch of broken things that are like single repair kind of deal, and collectibles maybe. Something that's like basically collectibles but might be not exactly collectibles, right? Basically excuses for me to say go here, 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 and here in that order. I don't know. And then maybe some levels would have like a one-time special objective just for funsies. Yeah, the actual text, what it's going to look like, not worrying about that right now. Do I have any fonts on hand that are not so default? Let me also make the actual font size a little bit lower. I have to make sure that it's like legible enough. Do I have like a title above above this? I guess so. Oh, you made a new canvas. Oh, right. I forgot that I did that. These things are 3D objects that are being rendered by this camera. Whereas, like, for text on the screen, it can just be a canvas. And I have a canvas. So the only reason I would not have this be a canvas is if I was going to have, like... I was going to basically try to 3D-ify it. I mean, I can 3D-ify it as is. Wait, like... Not like that. Like that, a little bit. I mean, I don't know how... Okay, that did... Yeah, I don't know how 3D-ified I'd want this to be anyways, but... I have... the power. Just it being slightly angled towards in the screen. I'm sure that there's some games that have this, like, that do this kind of thing. I just can't, like I don't think I'm completely original in what I'm doing here. I can't think of examples off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's some that have this kind of system. I think for more, like, story-based games or whatever, it's like, you're doing this, now you're doing this, whatever. Anyways, you know, for now we're not going to worry about it. For now, it's just going to be text, and I can make it look pretty later. So, objectives. I've been calling it objectives. I will call these objectives. Objectives. A little bit like that, right? I'll call this, for right now, I'll call this objectives canvas. And I'll let it be its own canvas for now until I decide if I want to incorporate it with this canvas. Never mind, I'm changing my mind on that before I even finish that sentence. Just have an empty game object here that's going to be objectives. And just, yeah, never mind. I'm going to plop that under there for now. If I decide later on to, oh, you broke? Oh, now you're a million miles away. Oh, hold on, wait, what's the problem? Your sizes are weird. Excuse me? Screen space camera. Oh, wait, you are a canvas that is being rendered by the UI camera. Oh, you have weird rotations. Okay, should have... yeah, I guess that's fine. Okay. Anchor this to the top left of the screen for now. Okay. This is... I'm going to call this Objective 1. And this is... title. Text. I guess I put text in the name. Okay. Yeah, just quickly, just and that here and there. Yeah, now as I said, in terms of an objective being considered completed, either I just change color of text. I could add a... Isn't there a thing where I can easily add, like, a strike through? I thought in TextMesh Pro there was... I mean, I know in, like, Word you can. Hold on here. What does this do? Oh, that's small capitals. That's what that stands for. That's just making it all capital. Oh, that's... I see the difference. Yes, of course. Strike through. Yeah, that's... So that, if it looked better, maybe with a different font, I could just strike through the text. You know what? I almost want to... Wait, can I make the strike through higher? I don't really have... That's a font-specific thing. I think, different fonts would probably be better. Yeah, I won't worry about that just this yet. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay. So, I think probably it'll be like this, and maybe, yeah, I kind of like the idea of there being like a check mark beside it. So that's gonna be images. I'm looking for image, right? Didn't need to duplicate that to make that. Whatever, it's fine. Left or right? I guess if it's on the left, it'll be, I can have all the checkboxes be in like together. I don't really want to make a checkbox right now, so let's just see what I can steal. Steal that maybe for right now. I guess we're gonna also let it be the same kind of green and red or whatever. Ooh, not like that, but be smaller. Thank you. Aha. Like that maybe. I don't know what I'm gonna do for like the sizes of things. That might be something to come back to, because two things to consider. One, I want it to be big enough to read, but two, it's gonna be on screen at all time. I don't want it to be obstructing the game view too much, right? So yeah, let's try that for now. Wait, isn't there a... No, wait, there's literally a toggle. Let me steal the toggle real quick. Just... Where'd that go? Specifically, I can just steal the actual... Just the graphic of it. You know what? I could actually just... Even the text beside it. Those are just normal text things. Wait, can I quickly make a... Toggle Text Mesh Pro kind of deal? Not built in. Fine. I mean, that's easy. I can just go put this... This label is that? Yeah. Wait, that was too soon. Actually, I can just set it up again after. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Put that there. You aren't lined up at all. Nah. The actual, like, this thing is so small. How about you don't be? How about no? That worked for now. You know, graphical stuff later. You almost want, like... Nah, I don't know, whatever. I imagine this as being, like, just a border where it's, like, see-through. Like, basically just the black of this without the white in the middle. That's how I imagine I would kind of go about the graphic of it. I just don't have that made at the moment. You know, like this kind of thing, but a square. You know what, that's close enough. I might just use that for now. It's better... It better articulates my vision. For right now. Except both of these being... color. Oh, I can't color this because it would need to be white. It would need a white circle for it to do that. I need a white circle. Whatever, don't care. It's fine for right now. Even this I can't. Need to make my own check mark at some point. Whatever, colors don't matter. It's fine. Just make it work. Okay, this. I need to get this like beside here. And then I can move you down. Right. So this is going to be objective 1. Because imagine, they'll be numbered, and somehow I'll make that. I'll have logic that dictates what the objective is, what it says, in a way that's easy to construct on a level-by-level basis. Oops. So this would probably be a prefab, right? Well, I guess I'll wait until it, actually is functional. But I guess I can just quickly go save me time to just make it a prefab now. UI. Would I spawn these at runtime? I mean, I guess I... So ideally, I imagine maybe on the objectives code, I'd have like objectives manager, and I'd have some cool inspector stuff where it's like an array of the objectives, where it has like maybe an enum for what genre of objective it is, like get to end of level, get collectibles, repair for minutes, and then text of what exactly the text says. Because as I said, I'd like them to be more personalized for the level, not just get to the end, but like get to the bottom of the mountain, you know, stuff like that. That I would type out manually for every level, right? Yeah, I don't know to what degree. It would be kind of neat to have new objectives happen mid-level. I don't think I'd have that happen all the time. I think it's like once you start a level, it would just, here's your objectives, do them. But maybe sometimes as a surprise, I would have like, as an uncommon thing, I think that would be neat of like, here's your objectives, you think that this is what you gotta do, but then halfway through, something crazy happens, suddenly your objectives changes or you have a new thing. I feel like that would be, it would be cooler to be an uncommon thing so that when it happens, it's like, whoa, the thing changed. But I think the usual case will be when the level starts, you know what you're doing. The tutorial specifically might get to be an exception, but we'll see. As to not overwhelm the player, could introduce the UI later. Or, I don't know. That maybe be fine. I don't need to be that handholdy in the tutorial. We'll see. Okay, so objective. So coding-wise, I think I've decided that it's going to be under level. Sure. Might make more folders to organize the code later on, but it sounds to me like we're going to need some kind of objectives manager. I do have a level manager. I think that's going to be the more hierarchical, to have the code be separated nicely. The objective manager will just handle like the initializing what the objectives are and the status of objectives being like completed and all that kind of stuff. Level manager is controlling more than that. Like it's probably going to set up like, you know, the player spawn, the spawning of the player and all that kind of stuff. Initiating a level, undoing stuff when we leave the level. I think that kind of thing. We'll see. It'll probably tell the objective manager to like, hey, start your timer on like the ride failing thing, but I don't know, we'll see. Then I have like the ride breaking manager thing that'll control the actual breaking of rides, blah, blah, blah. Things being more separated instead of one big game manager, usually a good thing. Okay, objectives manager. So I think what'll be nice for the inspector is to have a public class. Public class objective. That's just a bunch of variables that then I have an array of that class to, yeah, have nice stuff in the editor. System.serializable. So for now, we're actually probably gonna have a public enum too. Public enum objective type, right? You fine? Enum. I didn't spell it right. I forget if this has to be serializable too, but whatever. So this will just be where I list things out generically from like most common to least common. Get to end. Actually, I want the first one. The most common thing is fix until time runs out, so I'll have that be the very first one. Fix until time. Get to end. Fix. So, like, how do I describe differently the difference between this one and this one? This one is, oh yeah, I didn't actually, I started to like rename just how these work here. I'll just do that real quick. Could have done that while I was talking at some point, but just have the word objective at the beginning of all of these, so it's just, I don't know, more organized, I guess. So this one is fix things that will continue to start breaking. This is one time fix all of these things. That's the difference between these two. How how do I articulate that in as few words as possible? Fix until time. I know one of them will be get collectibles. That's gonna be one, but I want that to be the last one, which means it won't have the comma. Fix all. Single fix all. There we go. That works. And yeah, I can change them later if I ever need to. It's not set in stone. Okay, so we're gonna have a public array of that enum. Not an array. We won't have an array. Public, just one of those things. For a specific objective. So you have an objective type. Then I guess. So public string for objective text. So then for any particular objective, might have some special information. Like for the timer one, now how long is that? For the collectibles, how many? What's the collectible? That gets trickier, so I'm trying to think of a nice, fancy way of doing it. I think I'm gonna basically have to do some if I want it to be nice and fancy in the editor, I'll probably have if I have some fancy stuff going on in the editor, I'll probably do some editor programming stuff to make the editor look nice of what variables show. Certain variables only show when certain enum options are selected, right? But I'll maybe get to that. So for now, I'm just going to list every possible thing, and I'll like separate it later. All of them are going to have an objective text. So until time variables, and some of them might overlap, probably. Fix until time variables, then we're gonna have the get to end variables. Hold on, let me just and it's faster if I just copy that. Variables this and this, and get collectibles. Variables. Okay, so for the fix until a time limit, I'm going to need a public int float. Like the time to fix. I guess. I don't know if I want to. Like. So if I put float, I'm putting in a number of seconds. Do I want to put 180 seconds? Or is it just easier for myself and for the code parsing I'm going to have to do anyways to just go minutes and seconds? Because then at a quick glance at the inspector, I can see 5 minutes, 30 seconds, like that kind of thing. Just might be easier from an inspector standpoint. And it means less math to do on start, I guess. Oops, int. So these would both be ints. Time to fix minutes, time to fix seconds, sure. Now, if this is a fix until time objective, it needs to have the rides to break and like the code, like, that actually does that. However, to reduce the number of variables, like, I imagine that if I have this objective, I'm going to have my ride manager in the level somewhere. So I can probably just do a get object, just if we have this objective, get the ride manager that I'm going to assume will exist, and then run code, like run a function on that deals with the ride. So therefore, the objective manager does not need to deal with the rides, it just needs the ride manager. Yeah, okay. Get to end needs to know it'll be a trigger collider that is the end of the level, I guess. So public transform end trigger, right? And we're assuming that this is a thing that you touch. You get in the area and you win, rather than like it could be you interact with a lever and you win, I guess. But nah, for now, just yeah. Okay. So single fix all variables. Single fix all variables. That's gonna be like. So, like, what do I need for this? Again, probably also there will be a ride... Well, it might not be the same ride manager. I'll probably, like, have 2 ride managers then. Something like that. To have the thing that breaks the rides, and then the thing that handles, here's some broken rides, fix them. Or, like, this is what needs to be fixed. Because, this does need to store, like, 5 out of 10 kind of a thing. So, I'm just trying to think. So I'm thinking that this might not need anything, just because there'll be some code that it'll need to get. I'm being indecisive about how it is. You know what? No, yeah, we're gonna do the same way. It's gonna be public transform, or public script I haven't written yet. Probably what's actually gonna be. The parent of all of them. Because what I imagine I'm going to do is, let's say I have, let's say I have a bunch of all the breaking rides. I'm going to have ride manager on some parent game object, and then underneath is all the rides. That way, if I want to know how many rides there are, I can just do, like, a get all the children, and how many is that? Shabam. However, I'm thinking ahead of, like, what if for some reason I had 2 objectives where it was, like, flip all the red levers, separate objective, flip all the blue levers. And that's 2 separate, basically, if I had 2 of basically the same objective, in that case, I don't necessarily want to be, have this so hard-coded where it assumes that it exists once. So in that case, I'd probably have this public reference to this set of objectives, right? So, public transform rides to single fix parent. That's a long name, but whatever. And you know what? On this note, I'll do the same thing with this. Rides to break parent. Okay. Collectibles. This is going to be easy. Just collectibles parent. I don't need to put in a number here. It'll get the number from the count. Like, it'll just be easier to... I don't have to, like, put in the number. I just have to put in... I make the collectibles. It gets the number. Just easier. Less me having to do stuff, I guess. For now, we're going to assume that if I have a get collectibles, it's going to be get all the collectibles rather than get half of them. I don't know. I don't see me doing that much. Get 5 of the 10 things, and then you've beaten that objective. Unless I have a system where you can do objectives, but then you can perfect objectives. Then I could imagine doing something like that. But for now, I'm just going to assume that it's all of these are kind of an all or nothing kind of deal. Get to the end objectives. I don't know if I'd have a thing where it's like get to the end in a time limit. So far, the only thing that's a time limit is coming from this one specifically. And this isn't a time limit. This is a survive for this amount of time. So not even really a time limit. You're not fighting against the clock. You kind of are, but in a different way, right? So I think for now... Yeah, I think for now we'll avoid time limits that you're against the clock. I'd rather a level be hard because you're trying to get through all the obstacles as fast as you can, just rather than having to fight a clock, I guess. Yeah, but the surviving for time is different. Okay, because that's almost like artificial difficulty at that point, which I know isn't always it's not always a good thing to have. And if I want the player to be able to, like, stop and look around the level... I mean, they can, but they'll be, like, failing this, potentially. I don't know. Whatever. I'll say that's fine for it now. Okay. So, in Objectives Manager, first, we'll start with the public list of all the objectives. objectives. Yeah. And that, now what? So I guess in start, I need to go through every objective and set them up. Do whatever setup I need. So let's go for each objective. Objective that's called objective in objectives. Yeah. I do kind of want to do this one at a time. Like, I set up these variables all together because it was just putting in variables that are going to be empty for now. But I think it would be better to, like, let's set up this, get it working, set up this, get it working. Like, now let's do it that way. So I did kind of, like, I have it here where I was going to, like, make single objective and then make the compound one. The difference is this being an array where it's a size 1, just building it like this from the get-go seems easier to then transition to the other one. So I guess I'm kind of doing it at the same time. But we'll start by just getting a single objective to work, and then hopefully, because it's an array, it'll hopefully just work for all of them. Okay, so we go through the objectives. I guess, need to see first, like, the clause is going to be different, where it's, well, I guess the setting up the text will be the same, but here, let's go. I do need text to spawn, so that's going to be a prefab for, like, the temporary text, I guess, which is a toggle. The parent object is a toggle, I guess, so we're going to have private, no, it's going to actually be public because it's going to be a prefab reference thing to spawn. Public toggle. Oh yeah, right. I was like, why are you not showing up? Yes. Using Unity engine.ui. I also know I'm gonna need using Unity or text mesh pro. Right? Is that the one that needs? Yeah. Hopefully. What's your problem? Wait, you have errors? Because I didn't finish typing that, of course. Public toggle. No, you're not an array. Just the prefab reference. So, what's the word I'm looking for like a base version of a thing? Template. Call it objective text template, I guess. So we're going to instantiate. Regardless of what the objective is, it'll be the same initial steps of make the text, set the text. Because it's a prefab, it'll already have the color, in theory. I'll need to set the, like, how far down it is. I don't know if we're going to assume that, like, each objective will be a one-line thing, and I don't have to worry about word wrap and how that's going to push things down yet. For now, we're going to say that each thing is a finite amount of units down, and hopefully that'll be fine. Like, again, I don't expect to hopefully, like, I don't expect to have a paragraph of an objective. The objective, like, if it is that point, then the objective is too complicated, I think. Or there's a better way to explain what the objective is, right? In fact, like, what could kind of happen is, like, the cutscene beforehand could, set up the what you have to do, and then the objective is a very condensed version of what the cutscene told you, basically, or what a character tells you in whatever subtitles, right? Okay. So instantiate the objective text template. Where am I putting it? I guess under the game object that this is on is the parent. That's, yeah. Transform dot rotation. Sure. Parent being this us. Didn't really, well, as I said, we want to move it down, but I think I'll just instantiate it and then move it down, probably. Just transform. This isn't necessary, is it? Don't, if you just go like this, it'll just get all that? Like, don't check here. I don't remember if just saying this is the parent, if that works that way. So let me just Google it real quick. Unity. Bleh. If I just put in the parent, does it then inherit the position and rotation by default? Makes a copy. Yep, I get that bit. Oh, okay. If a parent specified, no position or rotation are specified, the original object's position and rotation are used for the clone's object's local position and rotation, or its world position and rotation. Yeah, so I don't want that necessarily, because whatever I'm messing around with the prefab, if it's slightly not where I want it to be, then yeah. So just do that. It's just, yeah. Take in the rotation and the position of the parent. And I have the parent position where, like, the first one will be. I then need to actually go game object, new objective equals blah. Oh, as game object. No? You're toggle. Yeah, yeah, you're toggle. I'm fine with having the toggle part immediately. Yeah. However, oh. It actually is, so as fancy as it is to, hold on here. As nice as it is to use a for each loop because it's fancier, I do actually kind of need, like, how far we are in it. Because for each one we go down by a fixed amount. I need to multiply something by I. So, I mean, my options are either I basically make an I variable that I increment, but at that point I'm just using a for loop. So do I just, I think at this point I just go with a normal for loop. I is less than objectives dot length. I mean, minor thing, but in C# and Unity, a normal for each loop is slightly faster than a for loop. Or wait, no. A for loop is slightly, ever so slightly faster than a for each loop anyway, so technically it's going to be better in performance. So, so I spawn a new one of these guys at taking the Y position, being like, let's go. Just saying how best to type this code here, because I could go transform.position.x, transform.position.y. Let me first just type out this, but it's the Y that I'm changing. Minus, because we're gonna go down the screen. Minus I times some amount, how much to go down each time, which I think I'll make a public variable. So public float dis between objective text. And actually, because this is a public variable, I usually like to be more, not have short forms really in the in public variable names. So distance, we'll go the full distance between objective, or distance between text. Just, yeah, that's fine. Multiply that by I, so even when I is 0, then it'll be place for first thing, and then cool. And right now we're assuming that each one will be a fixed distance down, because that should work as long as we don't have multi-line things. And we're going to assume that we won't for right now. Okay, so we instantiated the text. Next thing is, I mean, I guess setting the toggle to false would be a first step. And the prefab should probably already be set to false, but we're just going to make sure. What is on? Is that the, yeah, equals false, where you are a Boolean? That would make sense. Yes. Okay. So next I want to get the child text. I need to make sure I get the right text, because there's different things. Hold on here. I need to make sure I'm just getting the right thing, as you see exactly how. So because well, background, that's just an image. That's just an image. Your text. So there's only one text. So I just do get component children. That should be fine. New objective dot get component in children. Text mesh pro. I think just doing that will generically get any text mesh pro thing, right? Or no? Do I have to actually go like, it's a namespace, but it's used like a type. No. TMP text. I forget the exact. Or whatever. That's fine. Probably fine. So Text Pro text. Actually, let me just do this for a second and see what other. No, whatever, it's fine. I think that's fine. We'll find out if it's fine, if it runs or not. This dot text equals. Okay, so this, that's the first time we're using this. At I dot text. So before we even care about what it is or what it does, we're just going to set the text. Now, we'll have to be changing the text every frame if we have the timer part of it. I don't know if I might want to... No, hold on here. If I have repair rides for 5 minutes, it might be easier on the coding side to have repair rides for B1 text that doesn't change, but then have the timer part of it be a separate like object that's just the time. However, deciding if well, okay, then that muddies things up a bit, where then some objectives have one text object and some objectives would have two text objects. Like get to mountains, like that does only has one text thing. Ideally, I'm trying to make this as generic as possible. For now, we're just going to assume one thing of text, and I'll just change manually. Yep, that's fine. Okay, because it just makes the code slightly easier. So, and then I also don't have to worry about manually placing this or whether this might overlap with this, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, actually, the more I think about it, might be easier to do it that way. Okay, new objective. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, and then now I have stuff that changes depending on what the objective is. So, if objective... Oh, wait, I can use a switch statement. Switch... Don't use these too often. Objectives I dot. Can you use? I assume you can use a switch statement with an enum. I usually use them with ints, but an enum seems like a perfect, you know, the thing to use it for. Your lowercase objectives I dot type case. I guess we're about to find out. Objective type dot. Yeah. Okay. I want to go in the order of the other thing. Oh, this is... No, you're not in the order. You're alphabetical order, but okay. Case... Bleh, yeah, return... Let me just... Int I equals... we're just making this temporary line. Int I equals 0. Or j equals 0, just as a temporary line. Okay. Wait, what's your problem with... Oh, I have to do the... That's a... I haven't done a switch statement in a long time. I'm forgetting the syntax a little bit. It's something... Oh, no, no, it's not this. I use a colon. That's it. I know I can just Google it, but I didn't have to. Is that right? This bothers me, how much space is between that and that, but I guess if that's how this is. You don't need a default, do you? And usually you do as like a catch-all case, but in my case, it's one of these four. It's not going to be... none of them, so I think in this case it's fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna actually now we're gonna get one of these, and then right now the default would be anything else that I just haven't programmed yet. But objective, if the objective is fix until time, so what do we need to do if that's the case? Okay, so we need to let me remind myself with the public variables. We need to get these times and then set up for actually changing the time thing. I guess that's something I need to update every frame. So I might need to start that process. So, which I could have in update go through every objective. If we come across one that's this, then update it. But that feels unnecessary. Because the only ones I need to go through every frame is the time ones. Get to end of thing, I don't need to. Other than something that change, whatever determines that we've cleared the objective. But, something that determines if we've cleared an objective, ideally that's not like a thing we check every frame until it's true. It'll be more of an event thing where it's like, we touch the trigger that is the end of the level, send thing off to the objective manager to say, hey, this objective is done. That's way better than having to check every frame. Yeah, the timer, though, is the thing that does need to update any frame anyways, so... Yeah. So I'm trying to think of how best to do that. I could. I'm trying to think. I could have like a separate private thing where for any objectives that are time-based, throw them into this array, add to it, so that then I only go through that array of those objectives. Maybe. So it's like I have an objectives array that's like a subset of this one. Is that unnecessary though? Like, okay, I can think of ways of going about this. I'm trying to think of a good, efficient way. The best way. Oh. Oh no, its stream is dying. Why? Oh. It kind of dipped. It's currently... I don't like how low these numbers are. That's not good. Could you, go up, please? This isn't a momentary spike. It's being continually low. Oh, 0. Fun. Stream is currently dead. Oh, it's come back? No. Okay, it looks like I'm waiting until that kind of gets back to being stable. Oh, it's climbing again. Oh. Okay, it's fixing itself, maybe. It's now super high. It isn't stable. I don't trust you. Yeah, you're flickering a lot. That's concerning. Well, not much I can do about it, so I'm just gonna continue working and hope that. Why is it doing this? That's strange. I mean, there's the whole Canada-wide, not completely, but mostly, or a lot of Canada-wide internet outage that happened a while ago, and I'm still, I guess, kind of seeing some of the effects of that. I don't know if that's specifically what's doing this, but yeah, don't know. Oh well. Hopefully it'll fix itself soon. Oh, it's stable now. Stable-ish. Okay, we're just going to continue. Hopefully it's fine. Okay. So, I need to... Okay, here's an idea. Here's an idea instead. What if the ride manager that's doing the braking, what if it controlled the time because it's what needs the time to know when to stop? What if the ride manager kept track of the time, and then every frame it sent off a thing to say, hey, objective manager, this objective should have this time. Then I need to link that ride manager to the proper objective. So I'm trying to basically see, is there a way I don't have to for loop through all the objectives to find the one that I need? And do it in a way so that if there's multiple things that have their own clocks going down, that they're all being kept track of. I mean, if I have a for each loop that does this, but I'm still for looping. It's got to be a better way. Like, rather than, like, is there a way where I don't have to for each loop through to find what I'm looking for? By just knowing this one. Okay, that's why I'm saying, like, the sort of subset array seemed like a potential idea. It just seems, I don't know, do I have to make a new list for it? That's basically a subset of the other list. I mean, I could almost just store an int to say, here's an int, or this element of this array, that is what needs to be updated. Come on, what's a good way of doing this? Because also, if I make an array that I'm adding to it, it would have to be a list because I'm going to be adding to it. I mean, I guess just in start, but... why am I not seeing this? There's got to be a good way. Maybe the answer might be more clear when I set this up. Let's start to go back and forth, and let me start actually setting up the... Hold on, let me close some of these. Let me start setting up the ride parent to actually use this information. Because I'm noticing another thing I'll need is these need to know, like, what is the time currently. And also, the ride manager doesn't actually always need to know the time. Like, it doesn't matter what's... One or the other could be keeping track of the time counting down. I need the text to change all the time. But the thing that's spawning rides only needs to know when time is up. Then I call a function to stop breaking rides, right? So, So it actually probably is better if the objective manager keeps track of the time, because it's the thing that needs to know the time. The ride manager doesn't need to know the time. So in that case here, I'm going to actually have some private variables. That's going to be the current time. And again, this is going to be one... So either I have one float that I'm having to convert into minutes and seconds every frame, which means dividing by 60 like twice a frame, which is fine, but... Or I store this in minutes and seconds, subtract this every frame. When this hits 0, put this back to 60, subtract this. That's less dividing. So in theory, because I'm displaying it as minutes and seconds, keeping the numbers in here as minutes and seconds in the code would be slightly more efficient, I think. The difference is I'm storing 2 ints versus 1 float, but still, it's like a space complexity versus time complexity thing. Either having 2 ints and some subtraction, or 1 float and some division. Right? 2 times of division. It doesn't really matter. It's like, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter much, but seconds. Yeah, so da-da-da-da. Yeah, this I'm also unsure of, because like this I'm getting a transform. Probably it's gonna be the ride manager, so might set that back up. Okay, so objectives, objectives manager. We're going to start with just the one objective, as we said, that is going to be a fix until a certain amount of time objective. The objective text is going to be repair rides for 5 minutes. Basically what that says. And let's just say it's 5. Just to test the minutes and seconds bit, we'll say 5 minutes and 30 seconds for right now. 30, and then I'll need this, but then these won't do anything, and eventually we'll get it so that they don't even show up. Distance between text for the whole thing, let's say, I have no idea, but I'll find out later. Objective text template, that's going to be this eventually. I guess the actual prefab itself isn't going to change, so... I mean, the prefab's going to change, but I can drag and drop, the reference right now, it'll still be the same reference, so I can just do that real quick. Okay. So, I need to reset up the whole ride breaking thing. Remember when we had that in our last test level? We're going to set this up in our player testing thing because the objective stuff is all on the player. Shoot. Wait a minute. I just realized that that's an issue. Oops. So here's the thing. The player, because of the way I have the hub world set up and how you go in and out of levels, the player goes between scenes and everything on the player sticks around from scene to scene. Right now, that includes the objectives. So I need the objectives, as I said, to be different from level to level. And the objectives thing kind of should go away in the hub world. Probably just like go away and like come back up. Which means I need to store the objectives information, not on the player, which means that parent game object I've just put it on, like that code, probably shouldn't be there. It should be on an empty game object on its own called objectives manager that on its start function will feed in information to the stuff on the player. And then when the player leaves the level, goes back to the hub world, have it clear out the objectives thing. Probably by just having the text like go off screen and then like deleting it all. Except the title part. Yeah, so that's important. That's something to keep in mind. Which means that I actually won't need to be in my the player testing scene for long once I have like... well, we'll see. Some of that's set up. Okay, so I have rides and then I have ride manager. Why did I put those on 2 separate game objects? I think I am fine to just... I can combine these. Like... Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to convert, so parent game object called ride manager. That'll have the code. Actually, hold on. I have been naming things without spaces. I'm going to continue to do that. It'll have the code on it called ride manager. Let's go. Just to copy this, so 51013. 51013. And right now, it's just to not have to change the code just yet. It's just a reference to itself. But I could now get rid of that reference and just assume it's everything that's a child object of itself. Yeah, I'm fine with that change. Because then, as I said, if for some reason I wanted to have multiple sets of rides that needed to be treated differently, I could have, like, you know, ride class A and ride class B. I don't know why I would do that, but I don't know. I could do it. I have the ability to do that. Maybe there's, like, these rides on the left side of the level will break twice as often as these rides on the right side of the level. Maybe that's just something I'd want to do for some reason. It's variety, I guess. Okay, so, right, anyway, so that was my other thing. So, ride manager, you have this stuff. I basically want to copy this. The level manager, I have to figure out how I want to run. For right now, I'm going to have basically everything happen on start. Because, actually, that's the thing. That's another thing, is that a lot of this stuff with setting up, initiating what objectives are and objective information, that can happen on start. Because that's once the level, like, that's when the, actually, no, I don't want to it happen on start. I take that back. I actually want to reduce the number of things that happen when a level happens in start. Because the level starting to exist is when we're still in the hub world, and then we go from the hub world into the level. And I want, like, basically during the canon thing of us flying into level, I want during that time to set up actual level things like the objectives, and then the second we hit the ground, then start like the timer, start the whatever needs to happen for the level to initiate properly, like the first ride breaks, whatever. Obviously, I don't want any of that to happen while we're still in the hub world, but also not having certain things in start means that the actual loading into the level will be slightly faster because there's like less of that start stuff going on, sort of delaying some of the functions so that the initial loading is faster, right? So by that logic, yeah. So this level manager, when we rewrite it, this will be what controls the starting of things, right? So it's basically going to call what is effectively kind of like a start function on all these other things. Okay, so I'm going to start by just copying this. Here we go. This here in my player testing stuff. Paste as child. Okay. Yes. So we have the ride manager and we have our level manager. Right now the level manager is disabled. It ain't doing anything, and that's fine for right now. I mean, for now I could. Actually, I kind of need thing. Oh. So here's the thing. For normal game, like the player playing the game things, we're gonna have the level stuff initiates when we hit the ground out of the cannon thing. However, for my own testing sake, it would be nice to be able to go into play mode in a level and have the level start. So I need two conditions that will trigger the level starting. The cannon is the normal case that the player will see. For my own testing, spawning in a level would be the second case. So for now, while I'm building some of this stuff, I might just let things happen in start and then move it out of start kind of after it's more functional. That'd be faster for just getting things to be functional, I guess. So right now, Ride Manager will continue to do nothing. Level Manager will continue to do nothing. Ride Manager still should only start breaking rides when the Objective Manager tells it to. Yeah. So the Level Manager probably won't reference the Ride Manager directly. I think in terms of the hierarchy of things, the Level Manager will tell the Objective Manager to initiate its objectives, and the Objective Manager will reference the Ride stuff, the Ride Manager, to tell it to start breaking rides. So because of that, the Level Manager, I don't think, needs to interface with the Ride Manager specifically. when we fail an objective, that'll go through the objective manager to say, hey, we failed an objective. That'll then go back out to the level manager just to fail the level. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so just to kind of clarify it in my own head. Okay. So, ride manager on start gets all the rides that are child objects of itself, which, as we established, this can actually just be transformed like that. What I'm probably gonna need to. Any other things I need for that? No. Okay. Which I think I don't need. I think I just have. I don't need transform dot in that anymore. Okay, so what am I need to do? Still have this information. Have this that gets filled in. Have start. As I said, I'm going to convert this into a public function that the objective manager is going to call public void start breaking, and then public void stop breaking. Right? Okay. So, on start, do this anyways. Actually, no. As I established, it'd be better to have less things in start, so we're gonna have that happen there as well. So on start breaking, get all the rides that this manager is in charge of breaking. In fact, manager doesn't necessarily need to be in the name. It could be ride breaker. I don't know. We'll see. Start the coroutine that starts breaking the rides. This stuff might not be necessary, but I'll leave it for now. Because this is stuff that forcefully fixes every single ride. And this is a thing that forcefully breaks every ride. I forget if this is a forcing starting the breaking process or a force a full being broken kind of state. But those won't be as necessary because, yeah. As established, so before it was like when we win the level, we auto-fix all the rides for the win screen, whatever. It will probably change to, as I said, when time is up, rides won't start breaking anymore, but the rides that are in the middle of breaking, you still gotta fix those. That was the thing that I said that I wanted there. So I think probably just to stop all coroutines should be good enough here. Because it'll stop this. Yeah, that should be all. So stop breaking, don't break anything else. On start breaking, do this stuff. That means every time we call start breaking, it gets the references again. I'm fine with that because this function should be running just once at the start of the level. And if I do anything where I'm like, I don't know, removing some rides from existence and then spawning them back in or whatever, I guess that would make sure this cooperates as it should. Anyways, okay, so that's the changes to the ride manager. And now, okay, now the objective manager can interface with it properly. So this is going to be ride manager as the reference now, not the transform. It's rides to break parent. Sure, I'm fine with that still being the name, I guess. Okay, so in this case, we're going to tell... rides to break parent dot start breaking. Wait, what's your problem? With me even starting to type anything? Yeah, you do exist up here. What are you talking about? Oh, right. Yes, of course. I have to go objectives I dot blah 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 blah. Objectives. Yeah. Okay. Dot start breaking. Oh, you are tabbed out too much. Oh. Fair enough. Okay. I don't know when that happened, but whatever. Okay. So start breaking. I guess that's all for there. Okay. Okay. Yes, I'm thinking. I feel like I'm forgetting something else I need to do here. Yeah. So what else needs to happen? I need to set up the timer stuff, right? So this starts them breaking, and they're just going to go off and do that. Oh, I have a crazy idea. Coroutines. Coroutines is the answer, I think. I coroutine countdown ride breaking. I knew there was a better way to go about this, and I think I found it. Go start coroutine. Hey, you don't like because I haven't put a yield statement in it. That's fine. It's getting there. Where this will take in the... I was gonna say the objective. Yeah, you'll take in the full objective, because, yeah. It'll take in, well, not like that, but it'll take in a single objective. And this is gonna pass in that. And then this is going to, do a thing that's basically gonna turn itself into like an update kind of deal. So while true, do stuff and then go yield return null. That waits a single frame. Okay. Okay, so countdown, ride breaking, we have an objective. So every, what is essentially a frame, I need to take the current minutes, the current second, basically make the time go down on the current objective. Objective dot time to fix minutes. And I think we can assume if we are running this with this objective, this is an objective with a timer that matters. Because that's why we're calling this. So I don't need to, in here, I don't need to test the enum, because we're only calling this if the enum is what I'm expecting it to be, right? So time to fix minutes, actually the seconds one, minus. We subtract it by 1, and then this is just an easy if the seconds is less than 0, if it's less than 0 now, or if it's equal to -1, but whatever, then the seconds now turn it back into 60, or I guess I would turn it into a 59. That's 0, 5 minutes. Yeah, turn it into a 59. Yeah, 59. And then turn the minutes 1 minutes minus. But then I also now want to check, we subtract the minutes. Now, if the minutes is less than 0, or I guess if it's equal to 0. If it's equal to 0, then we're at 0 minutes, 0 seconds. No, wait. If we're at 0 minutes, that means we're in the last minute. That means we'd be at 59 seconds. So if the minutes is currently 0 now, and the seconds is 0, well, it's not going to be 0 because we just did that. Hold on here. Trying to think of the more accurate way of basically testing that we've run out of time. That's what check I'm doing right now, is that we've run out of time. Oh, let me also make sure that the yield is where it's supposed to be. No infinite while loops on in my Unity code. So we subtract the seconds every frame. That's happening regardless, assuming that the countdown's still going on. We subtract the seconds. If the seconds is now less than 0, then I guess I should be doing the checks beforehand. Yeah. 2 separate checks here. Okay, so if we've run out of seconds and the time to fix minutes is less than 0, or is also, so this just went below 0, so -1, and oh wait, I'm just realizing that we shouldn't be minusing this every frame, because I guess I can actually just go yield return wait for seconds 1. That's actually because I could subtract it by time.delta time and have it be a float and then round it, whatever. But I don't actually need to. I can just every second subtract it by a second. That means also that this code is running less often. So I guess that's actually better? Oh, yeah. New. Missed the new. Yeah. Subtract a second. If the seconds is less than 0. If this is now equal to 0. Or I guess I should... If they're both equal to 0, then we're out of time. That's how it should be. Hold on here. And If they're both 0, then that means we've run out of time. So run out of time. And then the other case is the else if how do I do this? So otherwise, I want to make sure this. I want to see if this is less than 0, because basically it's when it hits -1. That's when I'm flipping it around, not at 0. Like at 500, the next time that we decrement it, then we then I flip it over. Or I guess I could do the subtraction at the end. In that case, or I'm trying to see like how can I make the if statements efficient is what I'm trying to do right now. I can say if it's 0. Yeah. Hold on here. Yeah. 1, 0. I think I'm fine with or no. Hold. I'm trying to think of. So with the countdown, right? Should it basically be like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? The second hit 0, it stops, or like 0 gets to be its own like second of time. Now, I guess like as soon as it hits 0, it should be done, right? So the second that the clock says 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, it should be done that frame. So wait a second. Yeah, no. So I want to decrease it and then see that it's hit 0. Yes. Decrease it. Is it 0? Then we've run out of time. Do whatever we're about to do there. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, if our seconds is less than 0, because it just went -1 as a result of us decreasing it. The minutes wasn't 0 though. Then that means decrease the minutes. Put the time to 50 seconds. Ah.